What's going on, guys? It's been a while, but I have decided that I'm going to start doing a couple of deck profile videos again. Starting with this one. So this is Exodia, the Forbidden One. This is what I've used personally myself in tournament. Some weeks I've had 3 wins to 1 loss. Some weeks I've had 2 for 2. Some weeks I've, very, very rarely, but the odd 1 or 2 weeks there has even been a case where I've been unfortunate and only managed to pull 1 win. But it's very few and far between. So this is basically an Exodia, the Forbidden One deck, as built by myself from scratch. And I'm going to go through it with you, show you what I've got, and show you basically how it works. So first things first, let me move those from the field and grab these. So starting this off with the deck profile video, we need to have the big man himself, the 5 pieces of Exodia. You can't have an Exodia deck without Exodia. So that's just to start us off with. And next up we have, I run 2 copies of Heart of the Blue Eyes. Great card, perfect searcher, gets out one of the spells that we need, and at the expense of just discarding it from your hand, basically. But you could boost this card to 3. Can't see why not. It'd be perfect to use anyway, but Heart of the Blue Eyes. Run at 2. Next up, there is 2 copies of Shield. Shield of the Millennium Dynasty. Or Dynasty, however you want to pronounce it, to be honest with you. Again, you can set this to your back row as a spell or trap, and then when you're ready, drag it forward, paying 2,000 cost. And if you do, you can add a Millennium Ankh to your hand. So another great searcher for the spell that we need. If you have the Ankh in your hand, you can reveal that to summon that card from the back row straightforward. Next up, 2 copies of Sengajin Wakes from the Millennium. Great cards. Again, another great searcher. He lets you add a monster from your deck to your hand that has Millennium in its name. I run this at 2. I find anything more can be a little bit bricky, but 2 is perfect. And you'll see why most of these are at 2 later. Next up, we have 2 copies of Golem that guards the Millennium Treasures. Now, again, another searcher, but he doesn't search for the Millennium Ankh. He actually searches for a different spell card called YuGiOh Temple, which I will go through shortly. The YuGiOh Temple is a great card to have on the field, and you'll see why shortly. So that's those. Basically that's it for the standard Millennium engine. I like to run 2 copies of Fiend Reflection of the Millennium. Again, you set it to your back row. When your opponent activates an effect, you summon him forward and gain life points equal to half of 1 attack monster on the field. Next up is a 2 copy of Maid of the Millennium Moon. Again, she does the same thing. So, like Fiend Reflection, when your opponent activates an effect or a card, you can summon her from your back row to your front row. And just like Fiend Reflection, which I didn't mention just now, but I'll mention now, Maiden and Fiend both do exactly the same thing, where they cannot be destroyed by battle. And if I remember rightly, you take no battle damage. No, sorry. She's on the field. You cannot target level 5 or higher illusion or spellcaster monsters with card effects. So, yeah, another good one. Especially when she's in defense, because she ain't going nowhere. We do like a bit of old school in the engine, so we do still run 2 copies of Witch the Black Forest. As we know, she allows us to add a monster from hand with 1,500 or less defense. So she's a perfect searcher for things like your Maiden or your Fiend Reflection, or even just a piece of Exodia. She can add those add those from deck to hand. We have next up a copy of Sangun, another one that's when it's destroyed goes to the graveyard. You can add 1 monster with 1,500 or less attack from the deck to your hand. Again, just another searcher really, but great for pieces of Exodia and obviously the Fiend and Maiden again. No deck these days is complete without a selection of hand traps. So in this selection of hand traps, we have 3 copies of Ash Blossom. No point going into what she does. Everybody knows by now. We do run 1 copy of Effect Veiler. Again, everybody knows what Effect Veiler does. And we run 1 copy of Ghost Sister and Spooky Dogwood. Spooky Dogwood's a great one because obviously you discard it from your hand to the graveyard. And every time your opponent should special summon a monster, you gain life points equal to that special summon monster's attack. Obviously, the only thing to watch for with this card is if your opponent does not summon a monster via special summon, you lose half your life points. So it's a bit of a naughty one. It's a double-edged sword, but it's great. Okay, we're on to spells and traps now. So we do run 3 copies of the amazing card Millennium Ankh. Millennium Ankh allows you to show 5 pieces of Exodia from your hand, deck, and I believe graveyard. From the hand, deck, and or face-up field, sorry. Then special summon 1 unstoppable Exodia, which is this lovely gentleman here. We'll go into him shortly. But then you shuffle this card back into the deck, and anything that is not a Millennium monster on your side of the field gets shuffled back into the deck as well. Then you run 2 copies of YuGiOh Temple. So this is the one I was saying about the golem that guards the Millennium Treasures. He's the one who brings this out. Evil card. Great card, because if you've got a monster in your hand, you can set it to your side of the field as a spell and trap. I find it works best with things like Fiend, Reflection, or Maiden. Set them to the back row of the spells and traps, and then you can go into your deck, get another card out that mentions Millennium, place it on the field as well. So it's a great way of getting things out like your shield or your Sengenjin if you don't have it. And every time a Millennium monster on the field should be destroyed by a spell or trap, I believe. Sorry, by a card effect, not a spell trap, by a card effect, you can then reset it back to your spells and traps. So if I've got Sengenjin on the front row of my field, while YuGiOh Temple is on the field, say, and my opponent should go, oh, card effect, boom, destroy your Sengenjin. You can then take that Sengenjin and go and put it back on your spell and trap zone. So, great little card. Next up, I'm only running 1 of, but you can boost it to 2. Obliterate Blaze. It is a 1-turn thing. It doesn't linger, unfortunately, I believe. So once it's used, it's used. But it does have 2 effects. So you control a level 10 or higher monster that's got Exodia in its name. This guy here. And you can give him one of 2 effects. You can either go to your deck, reveal the 5 pieces of Exodia, destroy all your spells and traps that are currently on the field, set the 5 pieces there, and give that Exodia 2000 attack for each piece you've set. Or you also have the effect of, if the card attacks a defense position monster, you can inflict piercing damage to him. Trying to just see if I can get to... Nope, it's not going to do it. But yeah, naughty card. There's another one that's in here that's really naughty. We'll get to that shortly. So, 1-ofs for the deck. Harpy's Feather Duster. Gotta run Duster. Lightning Storm can be handy if you don't have much to play with. We do run 1 copy of Super Poly. And we do have a copy of Book of Eclipse, just to finish off your spells lineup there. And finally into traps, before we go into the extra deck, we run 2 copies of Exod Fires of Rage. Now, Exod Fires of Rage is a great deck, a great card, sorry, because I do apologize about the noise. The dog won't lie down. So basically what it does is it's sat on your side of the field, like so. And whenever your opponent should activate an effect or something, as long as you control a level 10 Exodia monster, you flip it over and you destroy all cards that your opponent control. So basically it's a board wipe, a 1-hit board wipe, which is absolutely brutal. as it's come in handy more than once. Once it's in the graveyard, you can banish it from graveyard and add a forbidden piece from your deck to your hand as well. Sorry, deck or graveyard to hand. Or you can banish it from the graveyard to shuffle 5 pieces from the graveyard back into the deck. So it does a couple of different little things. I've never used the second effect where I shuffle back in, but it's nice to know that it's there if you need it. The deck mostly focuses on around one-ofs, but I do have another couple of twos. So I got a couple of twos here called Break the Seal. It's one of the new cards for Exodia. It's evil, so you can activate one of the following effects. You place one Break the Seal from your deck or graveyard face up on your field. Or you send 2 face up Break the Seals you control to the graveyard, including that one card, and add 1 Forbidden 1 monster from your deck to your hand. If you do the Forbidden 1, the second option, sorry, no, that's incorrect. So if this card is destroyed by a monster effect or a card effect, you can reveal Forbidden 1 monsters in your hand and return that many cards on your opponent's field back to their hand. So that's a naughty one as well. I like this card, Sales Pitch. If your opponent should happen to add a card from their deck to their hand without drawing it, you reveal this card, flip him over and say, haha, I'm going to do the same thing. And then you can go searching for a piece as well. So you get to add a card with that one as well. And then the last couple of cards for the deck, we have 1 copy of Mirage Mirror Force. Lovely little card, works well with the Fiend Reflection and the Maiden of the Millennium Moon. So if they're in the graveyard, you control no monsters. Your opponent hits you for a direct attack. You can summon one of those monsters, because they're sort of illusion monsters. You can summon one from your graveyard or hand, and the returning monster then gets returned to your opponent's hand, which is absolutely naughty. And finally, to finish her off, 2 copies of the Infinite Impermanence, because everybody runs them these days. Just to finish off the deck, guys, to finish off the profile for the deck, we have the extra deck now. So we do run 3 copies of the Unstoppable Exodia Incarnate. He requires 5 pieces to be revealed, and the Millennium Ankh. So turn the Ankh over, reveal the 5 pieces, summon out Exodia. He does come out with a question mark, but he's naughty. So what he'll do is every turn he's going to give you a spell and trap pop. So if your opponent tries to activate a spell or trap, you can negate and destroy it. And on top of that, when you go to battle phase, you can activate his effect during the battle phase to gain attack points equal to your life points. Believe it or not, I have had this bad boy at 85,000. I'm not even joking you. There are witnesses. But 85,000 I managed to get to quite happily with that card. Lastly, for that card, during the end phase of every turn, you can go into your deck and set either Exod, Fires of Rage, or an Obliterate Blaze. Next up is your targets for Super Poly. So we won't go into these too much, but you've got Predaprant, Dracostapelia. You've got Mud Dragon of the Swamp, and we've got a Garura Wings of Resonant Life. They are your targets for your what's he called? Your Super Poly. And then I haven't actually gone into some of these, but you know, they're in there anyway because why not? I do run 2 copies of Heretical Phobos Kovos, because I run illusion cards which are both level 4s. I run this one as well. Takes 2 of them, and when he comes out, he's again, like them 2, impervious to battle damage. Great little card to have, and you can target one effect monster your opponent controls, negate its effects. Then, if it battled this turn, you can take control of it until the end phase. This is a quick effect. If this card has an illusion monstrous material, you can also only use the effect of this once per turn. If this card battles a monster, neither card can be destroyed, which is obviously a continuous thing. So the effect of taking control of a monster is a once per turn, but he can't be destroyed by battle. When I said I don't really go into the engine much, there are quite a lot of level 8s in here, and one of my favourite Blue Eyes tricks is to run Draglubian. 2 level 8 monsters, bring out Draglubian, discard 1 material, go into your graveyard for 2 more number monsters. I run 38 and 100. So depending on how the battle's going for you, you can either go into 38, which will take one of your opponent's activated spells and traps and pop it underneath as a material, or you can go into number 100 Numeron using the effect of Draglubian, put that one underneath there like that, discard that one as material, and then he will go up by X amount times the number of stars on the field in ranks. So if your opponent's got 3 XYZ monsters out with a combined total of, I don't know, say 24 stars, 24 rank, plus Draglubian's on the field for 8, and he gets 1 as well for an extra 1. So it's going to be, say, 24, 8. My maths is terrible, sorry. 33. This card will become 33,000 attack. Absolutely broken, but works wonders if you need to pop it off. And finally, we've got just a couple of links. I do run 1 copy of Silhouette Rabbit. Again, another illusion monster. Got to run a few illusion monsters. This one's not exactly the highest of powers. Unfortunately, you can't put him in defense. So, even though he can't be destroyed, he does still, unfortunately, cost you life points every turn, which is not good. My apologies, the dog has just decided to be an absolute knob. Next up, I do run 1 copy of each of these. So we've got 1 IP Masquerena, and we've got 1 copy of SP Little Knight. I'll try and get this camera right again now. Luckily, it's the end of the video. But, yep, I got those 2. And finally, my added source to the deck. I'm going to place it face down like this. And I'm going to let you all take a little guess now quickly before we go into it. What do you think that face down card is? Revealing it now in 3, 2, 1. It is a copy of Spirit with Eyes of Blue. Why is there a copy of Spirit with Eyes of Blue in there, you ask? I will tell you now. The reason you run a copy of Spirit with Eyes of Blue is for the plain simple reason that you run so many level 4 spellcaster type monsters. Well, you only run a couple, but you've also got dragons in there as well. So keep that in the extra deck. If you pull out your Black of the Witch of the Black Forest, she's on the field. Get rid of your Witch of the Black Forest. Pops her effect, allows you to get the monster from the grave, or from the deck, sorry. Summon him out, and then you can send him to graveyard for cost and summon out your Heart of the Blue Eyes. Unfortunately, if you do it that way, your Heart of the Blue Eyes will not be able to battle and has no effects. But the good thing about it is you then have a 3,000 attack monster on the field that's quite hard to jump over. So yeah, basically guys, that is the Exodia deck profile. That's what I have been using now and again in the last few months in my locals. Which, by the way, since obviously the last time I've done deck profiles, I have passed the Konami Judges Program tests and become a full-fledged Konami judge as well, which is great for me. And I now run the judging at my local store, which is Duke's Gaming in Pontypool. So I'm going to give them a shout out on my video. And hopefully with any joy then, if anyone's in the area, you might want to pop in and on a Tuesday night and come and have a game with us. But for now, guys, I'm going to leave the video there. And I thank you all for watching.